Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thanks again for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Quick look here at Filecoin, seeing what's going on. It's an interesting little pattern here, but pretty straightforward. In other words, we're seeing our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 playing out here fairly well. We've likely hit our bottom here with our fourth lower wave and essentially followed by a higher high to break this most recent high about 650. So strong chance we should be able to see that. Again, there's a few other key factors we're going to look at. It's not just, Elliott Wave doesn't just foresee the future. It's just that most coins have a tendency of fulfilling a very similar pattern, and we're seeing that right now. So let's look at a few key factors here. If you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. Hope you can learn something today. If you want to become a better trader, again, cryptocash.tech is a site. We've got trading academy communities and of course signals that I send out where we've been very profitable lately. Be sure to check out our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord if you're curious about the results there. But when it comes to Filecoin here, last 7 days of volume, we can see heavy concentration at 651. Yeah, we've also got a heavy concentration at about $5 even too, but that's much further away from the price action. So you got to keep in mind, whales have a tendency of wanting to push the price in either direction to be able to sweep those liquidity levels. So there's less resistance, if you will. That having been said, this is not a guarantee we're going to hit 650. It's just a higher statistical probability. Okay. Again, a lot of times when I take trades, I go on higher statistical probabilities because it just makes sense, right? Why try to go against the grain when you can go with it? And at this point, so far, the signs are pointing up at this point. Again, a lot of it hinges on Bitcoin going sideways or just not being a complete, ridiculous coin, if you will, at this point. So I think that generally speaking, we're looking pretty strong. Filecoin held very well, contrary to most other coins that dumped pretty hard. Again, a 10% correction is a 10% correction, but Bitcoin corrected by 10%, and so did Filecoin. It's not a 2x decrease. It was effectively a pretty strong recovery. So just some things that I kind of look for in the back end essentially. But again, with trading, there's no guarantee. So just promise me you'll use low leverage, low position sizing when you're taking these trades. And if you're following my trades, of course, make sure you use proper risk tolerance that works within your means. If you're stressed at the end of the day, watching the charts all day long, you're probably doing it wrong, because swing trading is all about setting the trades and forgetting the trades. Okay, it's really that simple. At least it should be in time. I know at first it's difficult to comprehend because you're still developing your own risk tolerance. A lot of things going on, but anyways, enough about that. Just want to kind of throw that out there because I know some people were kind of asking about this trade, and there's going to be plenty of trades like this here that don't work out the way you want it to immediately. That's the way it goes with trading, okay, folks? So at this point, MACD is diverging, but we're still seeing a plateau. So good news is we're not getting any worse here to the downside. That's a positive sign. Most coins are kind of reflecting the opposite of that. Stochastic RSI is swinging upwards, looking like it wants to shift momentum, but we'll see here soon if that is the case. I think we need to break through a key level resistance. I'll show you what that is here soon. It's basically the most recent high that we need to double check here. Furthermore, we're above 50 on the RSI. Money flow index is low, but that's a 14-day lag. I'm not super concerned with that. Again, on the daily, the money flow index is not a big deal. 4-hour time frame, of course, we can see the money flow index is still coming down. However, you got to recognize RSI is maintaining above 50. That's a positive sign. We either want to have the RSI above 50 and the money flow index low, or the RSI above 30 and the money flow index low. Okay. Both scenarios typically result in a pivot, and the price action will continue further up. Now, again, is it a guarantee to push us through 650? No, but it does help us understand that we're on the right side of tracks. The stochastic RSI is swinging upwards, and that we're more likely to increase than decrease at this point. Again, that's where relief rallies come into play. When you see 3 days of continuous momentum in the same direction, that's why there was a fourth red day or a fourth green day in this example, because we've seen a lot of red candles recently. Okay, again, it's just that inevitability. That's why dead cat bounces occur. That's why we see these resistance levels formed. We're likely to bounce and at the very least recover to a recent resistance level. And we'll look at that in the charts here in a minute, but just to note, we're also plateauing here on the 4-hour MACD, which is actually a good sign. We haven't converged yet, but we're getting there, okay? So when I'm talking about resistance levels here, let's first of all zoom out a little bit, get some perspective on the volume. And just to clarify, when you kind of look at this range here, we can see there's a decent amount of volume here at about the $6.20 and $6 mark. So between 6 and 6.20, we're right in the middle of that. So we're basically at our average true range for this coin. The ATR is important to recognize because that works as somewhat of a support or resistance level. If you're breaking within or staying within, that's a good sign in most cases. Furthermore, too, we had this previous resistance level based on a few, I think it was either, I think it was a daily candlestick closure at about 625. I'm rounding up a little, actually more like 621, but this is an area we want to kind of pay attention to. Closing above 621 and or the $622 mark at the 0.382 fib is going to be an important level to cross. Okay, so to me, with us being below that, it's not great, but with us being above that, it would be much better. Okay, again, you can't always get what you want, but on the same accord here, if we look at all the moving averages, we're trending very well. We're holding above the 200, the 50 days hanging out, we're ascending with the 20, and we're only below the 100, which is averages itself out at 621 as well. Okay, so again, all the more reason to close above 621 today. That would put us in a prime position. Now, when we come to the hourly, this is where things can get interesting. We're probably still within the cloud, which we are, and this is a very good sign. This is another reason why I feel comfortable with this trade, is mainly because the lower lead, we never truly lost it. So that does imply that this ascending trend, this continuation effectively, and you can typically see that when you draw it, trend lines effectively with the resistance levels there in place. In other words, we take a look here, we can see that the price action, while we did wick down once there, probably a lower liquidity swipe, we can see the price action's held above the lower lead on the cloud. Okay. Now again, not to say that's like a super massive confirming sign that we're going to go bullish. No, it just lets us know that you do not want to take a short, or had the price broken below and stayed below, we would have been in a different situation by now. Okay. All that having been said, we're still ascending positively in the shorter time frames. We're establishing higher highs and higher lows. We are in a situation where we have the price action above the cloud. We need to be able to make sure to just continue to hold strong here. And what I mean by that is that with all these indications here showing that the short position should be closed by now, it implies that the long position is still in play. Okay, does it imply that you take a long position? I get that question a lot. I would say in short, no, but the long answer is kind of a yes. I don't have time to explain that right now, but I can tell you though at this point, we have a lot of confirming factors that the price should continue up at this point, and I think we're in pretty good shape. Last thing we're going to double check here as well is our 15-minute and just see if the CC Golden Indicator gives us any indications of a long position, which it does. We got a few long entries here. So in other words, there's confirming factors that we could and should be in good shape. The thing I need to recognize though, or mention, if you use my CC Golden Indicator, you'll know when we're in this red area here, it's not ideal to take a trade. Okay, so again, we've broken above here. We don't have any new confirming factors yet, but these ones kind of help us understand we're on the right side of the tracks. Okay, again, now that we've essentially moved above those moving averages, we should be in good shape to be able to see the price continue up. Again, all this pending on Bitcoin not being a terrible, terrible coin today and dumping off again like it did yesterday. Most coins are somewhat knee-jerk reactioning to Bitcoin, and its behavior right now. Okay, so please understand that. We're not out of the woods yet, but there are some larger probabilities of the price action going up than down at this point, at least on the smaller and midterm timeframes here. And again, in the whole too, I've done an analysis on the larger timeframes in my previous videos. The macro on this coin looks very good. So that's another reason why I feel confident in this is, again, when it comes to swing trading, you need to recognize that the big picture has a tendency of playing itself out eventually. Okay, and eventually is the key word here. It's not right now. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm saying all this extra stuff because some folks are kind of freaking out over the price action turning around after we took a trade. You know how many times that happens? That literally happens 50% of the time. But again, 95% of the time we hit our first target. I don't know. I just think we got to trust the TA and let the rest ride here. But I think we're doing pretty good here for Filecoin. Again, invalidations would occur if we break below this most recent low here. And this is another thing we got to recognize. This guy here is staying right here. Okay, so again, if you draw a trend line out here, you can see we held very strong with this most recent high. That confirms the likelihood of the price continuing further up. Okay. Again, a lot of little things are positive here. Is it perfect? No, no trade is perfect, but that's just something you want to recognize. All right, folks, that's all we got here for today. Very last important thing. Trading competition coming up here for Bitunix. This is the 15th through the 29th. It's going to be a 2-week competition. Be sure to check it out. It's a big one. You have to use my link to register. Link down below. But just make sure that you you utilize that. You take advantage of these benefits. And I can tell you what, there's no KYC or VPN with this exchange, and that's the reason why we're gravitating towards that. Just because a lot of my members have that issue, where U.S., Canada, a few other countries, just some exchanges don't work in those countries. So Bitunix got you covered. Check them out. Phenomenal exchange. My favorite by far. Thank you, Bitunix. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Everyone else, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.